Dari, hello. It's the middle of April 2021, and today we're going to talk about music whilst running. Now, as you're shortly to be seen, in front of you is a variety of kit that I'm going to hopefully use to explain what you can use to have music whilst you are running. So, standing back and looking at the background of the situation is why would you want to use music whilst you're running? Well, for me, the reason is boredom. So if I go on a long run, and we'll define that more exactly soon, then running can be quite boring. But during a race, there are some competing factors which you have to deal with. So firstly, in the UK, England Athletics forbids the use of anything but bone conduction headphones like this on a running race. So these headphones don't cover your ears, they go around the ears, and these via vibration give you the sound. And even with those headphones, they're not allowed. It's at the race director's discretion as to whether to allow them. So even with those headphones, it's not necessarily allowed. So on road races in the UK and in some parts of Europe, you may not be able to have any music, in which case, if it's a marathon distance, you might get pretty bored. On road races, typically courses are marked, so navigation is not a problem, which means to say that you really, really, really do want some music. Otherwise, as I would say, you're more likely to get bored. But in the UK, on many races, even road races, no music is now allowed for reasons of, quotes, safety, unquotes. Let's instead turn our minds to trail running or just a fun run, where you might just want to go out for a training run and you might want to have some music because it's, for example, a route that you've done many times. Navigation is not an issue and you want to have some music with you whilst you run. My preferred solution would typically be a set of headphones, a set of wireless headphones, and a phone inside a running belt. So here's a running belt from Decathlon. That phone will fit nicely inside the running belt. And for me, the choices would be these Samsung Live Buds or the Aeropex headphones here, Aftershokz Aeropex. Now that's the best solution for me because I've got a phone with me, I can take pictures, I can make calls, I can receive calls, I can listen to music, I can listen to audiobooks. It's the most flexible solution. So for road running in the UK as just recce runs or training runs, that would be my solution day in, day out. If you're on a race in the UK and you really want the lightest solution, I would look at this solution, which is a high-end sports watch, this is, for example, a Garmin watch, which has at least 10 hours of battery life for an event, and even with music streaming to your headphones via Bluetooth, so for example, either of these devices, you're going to get at least 4 or 5 hours. So for a marathon distance runner, let's say you're 4 hours or under, so you're running something like 10 kilometers per hour average or faster. This is your ideally lightest possible combination. So to be clear, if it was a race, music was allowed, I'd probably be wearing this combination. So let's step it up a notch or two. What about trail running and ultra running? So for ultras, we're looking at running times of anything up to 40 hours, but more realistically, that would be a very, once in a year or once in a many years ultra. Your ultra is typically going to be anything over a marathon distance, could be something between 8 and 16 hours. So what are your options for an 8 to 16 hour music run? So the phone is not going to cut it. The phone will not last 8 hours. So let's remove the phone from that situation. Let's talk about what headphones you can wear. Well, this is my latest Petzl head torch. And as you can see, this goes onto your head. So this contraption goes around your head and somewhat conflicts with these headphones. So these headphones are great because they are not touch controlled. They have tactile controls here, which is important if you're running. Let's say for an extended period of time, you might become a bit woozy or disorientated, or you might not be on top of your game, and tactile controls are always better. Hence the reason why this is not a touchscreen watch. So you can see that in that situation, that combination might be a good idea. However, there's a problem because neither of these headsets are going to last 16 hours. So if you were to wear one earbud, and one earbud lasts 3 hours, and the case can recharge once, you've got 3 times 3, which is 6, times 2 is 12. So this might last you 12 hours, if you're lucky. But the question is, what exactly are you going to be powering it from? Via Bluetooth, you're not going to be able to power it from this phone, because this phone is not going to last 12 hours. So what you really want is a dedicated music player. Now, until recently, and this is the sad part of this description, the iPod Nano has been my player of choice. This does have a Bluetooth connection. It's incredibly thin and light. It can easily fit in a trail pack. So this is a very good trail pack, Salomon trail pack. It's got bazillions of pockets. It weighs practically nothing. It's very flexible. It can take a water sack here. And it's got many zipped pockets, in one of which would be the player. But the problem is that this player probably wouldn't last 16 hours either. So the answer is to take multiple players and, if necessary, multiple sets of headphones. Okay. Again, your watch is going to be used for the race navigation. And so if you use that for music, you're not going to be able to last the distance. And obviously navigation is far more important than the music. Without the navigation, you're going to get lost. So in previous times, I've used a player like this or a third-party player which had Bluetooth, and Bluetoothed it to a set of headphones like this. And the shocking news is that now it's April and we are getting ready for the race season to begin, and it will begin now COVID is hopefully over soon. It's failed. Let me just press it. Do you see that? Start, stop, start, stop. So it's been a week of trying to revive this player. We've tried it on a PC. We've tried it on a MacBook, a new M1 MacBook. It just doesn't work. We can get it into disk recovery mode. We can charge it all night. But when we start it up, it just goes, here we are. On, off, on, dies. Even when it's powered to the mains, it still won't boot. So I'm afraid my lovely clips for this Nano, all of these are going to be retired. So it's a very, very sad day for me. The iPod is dead. So currently my way of thinking is that I would like to have a wireless, long-lasting connection for my audio, but it's worth pointing out the other connection that a lot of other runners use, which is the wired connection. Now, here is the iPod Shuffle, no longer available from Apple, and a set of wired headphones, and that is a very good combination. So this remarkably small and light device, it must be less than 30 grams, I reckon, will last at least 10 hours. So if you've got a couple of these, like I say, they weigh absolutely nothing, and some wired headphones, you've got a working solution, except the fact that there's a wire. So what happens is when you stop at a water point, you need to take this rucksack off to refill it with fluids, and it all starts to get a bit crap because this wire will then snag. So the normal way of doing it would be get to a water station, try and remember before you take the rucksack off to detach the headphones from this, which will probably be in a bag, but it can't be in a waterproof bag because otherwise, won't be able to detach it. So there are a few issues there. But basically, you need to detach the headphones, take your pack off, fill it up with fluids, put the pack back on, reattach the music, restart the player. It begins to be a little bit of a faff. So although the wired solution is in essence quite simple, because you don't have to worry about the charging of the headphones and you don't have to worry about Bluetooth dropout, the problem is when you get to a water station, it's a bit of a disadvantage. So overall, for 2021, I'd like to not have a wired solution. So where are we back to? We're back to, for a long distance race, so something, let's say, over 10 hours, and something that might be in the night time. If it's a day-only race, I can use the Aeropex. If it's a race including the night, probably the Samsung Buds Lite. I've just ordered a second pair. You see they are absolutely tiny. This watch will not be used for driving the headphones because it just won't last. So what will have to be is another third-party player will have to be bought since you can't reliably buy Apple Nanos anymore. And that will be the music player. So fill that space with the, use a prop, anonymous music player here. So the future is Bluetooth connection to headphones, third-party player, and if it's not a nighttime race, you can replace with Aeropex. Okay, I hope that kind of outlines the challenges and the whereabouts of music whilst running. Again, these factors only come into play when you extend the runtime to more than 4 or 5 hours. So anything under 4 or 5 hours, you can quite comfortably use a sports watch and a Bluetooth connected in-ear buds, or you can use the Aeropex because they're race legal. Okay, Dari, thanks for watching.